What I'm going to be looking for after some pullback from the stock is a possible bounce to over $10 within the next couple months. Hey guys, welcome to 𝗃𝗂𝗧𝗏, where we show you how to invest for a better tomorrow. My name's Tyler, and today we're going to be going over ALF stock or Alfi, why they ran so hard today, and I'm going to be going over where they're going to be going into the future since I predicted this price action literally just last week. So as of this article, Alfi was actually up 53% during the market day, but as we've gone on over the last hour, they've actually hit about 80% up since pre-market, and this is coming off of news from their CEO 𝗃𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗀, where he said that they have a very strong balance sheet and have the ability to buy back shares from shareholders even though they IPO'd back in May. And this is going to be a nice setup for an even tighter spread on the share float, because there's already only about 12.5 million shares outstanding on the market for ALF. This is going to allow for them to get that even more drawn in with this buyback. They themselves said they want to keep a tight flow on the stock, and since they have the strong balance sheet to do so, this is a nice incentive for investors that have been in it, especially because it shows good long-term faith from the company to do well for shareholders. Another thing to keep in mind, if you weren't already aware, is that 64.5% of the stock is already held by insiders within the company. This is even more of an indicator that they're going to be looking out for their shareholder, just due to the fact that more than half of the outstanding shares are held by people that deal with the company or inside the company themselves. Now, you may be asking why a company would want to buy back its shares in the first place, and there's usually a few different scenarios, but essentially a lot of the reasons are going to be good, and it's the company feeling confident in where they're at currently with their different business dealings, and they are set up in a position to where they can be looking long-term for their growth and not have to worry about financial struggles in the short term. As an investor, this is obviously going to mean that they're most likely not going to be doing share offerings, which would dilute stock for you, and they would not be strapped for cash to limit where the business can actually grow into the future. Another reason that a company might want to buy back their stock is that they genuinely feel the stock is undervalued, and with about 64% of the shares outstanding being owned by insiders, this would align a lot with their values as investors themselves, because obviously they're going to be more likely to do things that are going to inflate the stock price over time, whether it's through their business or different actions that they can do on the market. I believe that they are also undervalued, but it's mostly due to the fact that they just recently went live and they haven't even been up a couple months now. But since they've gone live, they're actually up over 300% on their stock price, which is just insane. And they've just been doing a lot of good stuff, including their PR that they released last time on Uber and Lyft, for where they're going to be doing tablets for advertising for them. Just to reiterate, like I said, it's usually just because the company is more confident in itself, and then it's also viewed as a quote-unquote dividend that you would give out to shareholders, and instead of giving more stock and diluting the stock or just outright giving cash, you're buying these shares back to not only give value to people but also not make the stock price itself drop over giving that dividend out, essentially. So this is just essentially a reward for being an early investor in ALF, because they are looking at it as they've had a lot of success over the last little bit of time that they've been public, and they're looking to give back in that way to investors as a good faith move. While we're looking at the chart for ALF, as you can see, they started trading publicly around May 4th, which is just a little over a month ago, and they were sitting between a channel of $3 to $5 for a while, slowly went on a downtrend into the 2s and 3s and consolidated, and then back on June 15th is when they announced those initial partnerships with Uber and Lyft and what they're going to be doing for them with their services. And this is where they saw a big jump to start early. I made a video on this date where I predicted that Alfi would hit over $10 within a period of a couple months. And obviously this went a lot faster than I expected due to not thinking they would do a buyback this early in the company. But nonetheless, I did have them projected to hit over $10 in the shorter term period. So anybody that followed that call since I put that video out would be up over 200 200% right now for their different buy and stuff, especially if they bought those dips where it went right under $6. It hit a high of $14 today so far, and we've only been live on the market for about 2.5 hours now. So this could still have room to run today. I was doing some technical analysis on Twitter, so make sure you follow me on there if you want to see some live updates with different things going on during the marketplace most days. But basically it rode my support and resistance lines, and I said if it broke $12, it was going to make a short run to 13, and it did that within a period of like a few minutes. What I'm going to be looking for is a possible pullback within the next week or two. Over time, this is going to keep consolidating and moving upwards, I feel like, just because they are tightening the amount of shares in the market. It's already pretty low float, so it's going to get to the point where any significant buys or sells are going to move the price a lot. And it seems like a lot of people are very excited about the company and what they're doing and who they're partnering with. I see more upside than downside at this point. I think if we settle back down, we could be seeing about $8 to $9 when we get through into the next week or so. And then long term, I'm still going to have a price target over $50 for them. I'm going to be looking for a $65 price target now, just due to the fact that they feel so confident they're willing to do a buyback literally a month after going live. And this is where I assume they should be moving towards more of those bigger partnerships going into the end of 2021. If you're new to the channel or just didn't see my video that I originally did on Alfi when I first broke them down, make sure you go and check that out. I'll have it linked in a card up top for you guys. And I go a little more in depth of what they actually do and how they provide value for businesses. Other than that, that's going to do it for me in this video today, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.